so that's the car. So they're trying to improve it, testing everything. They're trying to get to, upping the production levels, and the company has been growing. Recently, last year, they merged together with Bugatti, which is also a famous supercar manufacturing company. They're based out of France, so it's not far away actually from Croatia, like a few hours drive.
You would
And
not expect a company called Bugatti to be based out of France. Like, that's such an Italian name.
yeah, it really does sound Italian, but they're French based.
How do they even pronounce that? Bugatti.
Probably. We will have to get a French speaker on the podcast to really get the feel for it.
And he'd be like, no, the Gatti is silent. It's just B.
Like the whole world pronouncing it wrong. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised, actually. That happens a lot. Rimac.
Indeed.
Yeah. So yeah, they're working on their Rimac campus. That's also mentioned in the previous podcast. It's a new facility they're building out, basically the Croatian version of the Gigafactory, right? It won't be as big as Elon's factory, but it's something state of the art. I don't think we have anything like that in Croatia or these parts of the world. It's going to be, state of the art. They're going to have everything.
That's part of the reason why Rimac is so exciting for Croatia, though, isn't it? That like the Croatian economy has never been super strong. It's sort of, I don't want to mischaracterize it, but like, you had the war back in the 90s, and I imagine it took a long time to restart the economy after that and get big business going. And I get the feeling there was kind of a lack of enthusiasm coming out of that.
Yeah.
And so Rimac is kind of a ray of light, isn't it, for Croatia?
Yeah. I always had a feeling that the, let's call it salvation, quote unquote, would come from outside, like international companies stepping into these regions and being like, look, this is what we do. This is how it's done properly. Learn from us. And that would raise the economy.
Hi, we need stuff done. You guys are relatively cheap compared to other developed nations.
Exactly.
And go do it for us, which is not the most inspiring story, but for a dude in Croatia to just come out of the gate with incredible technology and spin this company up to the point where it can absorb a globally recognized brand with the help of another globally recognized brand. That's just so inspiring. So that you guys must be so thrilled with that.
People love him, and he really is an inspiration, because usually there's a idea that, like all companies are corrupt, and you can't do anything or grow your company larger if you're not corrupt yourself, right? And I think he's just done it through like hardcore work ethic and like pushing through and basically raising the quality of the car so high that it transcends from a national level to an international level, And
I feel like that's part of the reason why he's compared so much with Musk, because for all of the criticism and flack that Musk gets, and some of it is very well earned, I certainly don't really think that he could be corrupt, and I don't think that he has corrupt motivations for doing what he does. I think that that's why people see the similarity between Rimac and Musk, and that's why I would have loved to have heard their conversation, because the philosophies that drive them both must be really interesting to compare and contrast.
Yeah, I would love.
I was actually when you said that we'd be talking about this and the difficulty that, like, I went and looked it up as well and couldn't find anything. I didn't do any kind of exhaustive research on it, but I just wanted to see, was there any video of the event or anything? And I think you had mentioned that it was difficult to find out what was said between them. And I was sort of half expecting you to come out and say, let's role play. Like, I'll be Matty Rimac and you be Elon Musk. And I was like, it's as stupid as it was. I was like preparing myself to be like, tremendously paradigm
orders of
order of magnitude. Yeah, exactly. I think it's tremendously important to understand orders of magnitude.
Meeting Mate Rimac is essential for bringing humanity to a multi-planetary species.
I think it's important to have a bright future to aspire towards, and having dinner with Matt Rimac at least once a week is an exciting future.
Oh man. Personally, like two things that would extremely surprise me. One would be if this became sort of a partnership. I don't think that will ever happen.
No,
I don't think they would ever work. Like, I don't feel that there's any hate or beef between them.
no,
I feel
but
just
they're
like,
too individualistic.
yeah, yeah.
Certainly Musk.
Just like both of them want to do their own thing and just like
Yeah.
run with it.
Yeah, and I think that Rimac has a different target in mind compared to Musk. Musk has this sort of global consciousness thing, or conscience rather thing, where he wants to accelerate the transition to renewable energy, and part of doing that is to eliminate the emissions from transport, and essentially combat climate change. And that's very sort of highfalutin and high-minded, and I don't think Rimac is pursuing this for that reason. I think, in his own words, like he still loves internal combustion engine cars. It's all about the power and the technology and the speed and the intricacies of that. That's what fires him up.
Yeah.
And while like Musk obviously appreciates all of that as well, his primary motivation is to kind of make a change in the world. And I don't want to say like one is better than the other. That's not where I'm going with that. I'm just looking at what motivates the two men. And so I don't think they could get along well in a partnership, because they'd be pulling against each other.
Yeah. I maybe failed to mention that in previous podcasts. I honestly don't remember, but I feel Mate has that also in the back of his head.
Oh, yeah?
It's just not as big of a priority for him.
Yeah.
I know that in one interview he mentioned that in the new campus that he's building, the cafeteria restaurant that they'll have inside for all the employees will be looking at a field where they will have sheep walking around, and he's a vegetarian. He's like, I'm not pushing anyone to become vegetarian, but you will have this lovely little sheep running around while they're eating, so to remind you that you don't have to. Plus, and then he throws like a fact on how much CO2 is produced on a yearly basis because of meat consumption. So I think he knows all the facts behind it, but it's hard to say, oh, you're going to change the carbon footprint of the world when you sell like 100 supercars, right?
Yeah.
But when you're producing mass production cars like Tesla, then you can really impact on a larger basis. And it's just a different play. Hey, thanks for watching this video. If you want to see the full version, go to the Uncle Gold Podcast YouTube channel or watch the next clip.